Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Prof. Jati and all of my friends. Today I am going to presentate about a financial indicator in this civil engineering projects to submit my assignment about the subject of economy engineering. So we are going to talk about the cash flow, the NPV, EIRR, NBC, IRR9, that we are going to tell and discuss in the next slide. Okay, so we are going to understanding the tools to make the difference between the successful project and one that brings resources. So first one, we are going to talk about the overview of our presentations. First, we have a cash flow right here, and then the net present value or NPV, the economic internal rate of return or EIRR, the net benefit cost ratio or NBC, the internal rate of return or ROI, and then we are going to I will provide a study case about these topics so we can make a better understanding. Okay, first of all, we have cash flow right here. So cash flow is a basically is the movement of money in and out of the projects. What is it for? First is to track the liquidity, track the progress, check the cash for the in and out cash flows, the payment schedules, the financial things, and the economically uh, considerations for the projects. And also the cash flow represents the timing and the amount of money moving in and out of the project itself. Okay, next, the cash flow for the function and the disadvantages, also the disadvantages. Okay, so the function of the cash flow is to support the budget planning and to avoid the cash shortage. And of course, to managing the cash flow is very critical to ensure that we have enough money at the right time, at the right moment to keep the project running without any interruptions. So also the advantageous is to know the real-time insight and help with resource allocation. The disadvantages of the cash flow itself can be irregular, so it will be many type of cash flow that will be checked by the team. And the second one, it doesn't have any account for the time value of money. So we need a specific team to check and recheck for the cash flow. Okay, next one, the net present value. What is it? So the net present value is present value of future cash flows minus the initial investment. What is it for? Again, this is for to assess the project profitability using time value of money. And this is so NPV is the way to measure the profitability of a project by considering the time value of the money, because the money today is worth than the money tomorrow. So that's why we discount the future cash flows to their present value. Okay, so the to know and to determine the NPV, for example, let's say we have a cash flow around $1 million or 1 million, yeah, for example, $1 million next year for a road construction project. So we have a road construction project with the cash inflow expectation, net cash inflow with $1 million, and the NPV calculations is $1 million back to today's values. And using that discount, that reflects the risk or the opportunity cost. So that's why the NPV is very important to determine that the project is visible or not. And the most crucial things is to calculate the NPV so that we know that the value of the NPV is positive, so the project is financially visible. Okay, moving on to the next slide, we have the function and the advantages and the cons or the disadvantages, like I said before, to help the project team to make a decisions which to know if the project is feasibility enough for being done. Also, the advantages we have to we will know the we can consider the time value and to support the investment comparison. And for the disadvantages, we have the sensitive to discount rate because we're talking about the money. This is very vital, and also it requires accurate forecast. All right, next one we have the economic internal rate return, or the EIRR. What is it? So EIRR is the rate at which the net present value of the cost and the benefits breaks even. Essentially, it is the project return rate considering all the economic factors. So in construction project in the civil engineering, EIRR helps to decide if the project benefits outweigh costs from a broader economic perspective, including the social and the environmental impacts. So the purpose of the EIRR is to measure the social economic value of a public project. Okay, so the EIRR, if the EIRR exceeds the benchmark rate that the governments have picked or make the decisions, the minimum acceptable rate of the project, good if it is without is with worth with the pursuing. Okay, so next we are going to talk about the function and the advantages, also the disadvantages of the EIRR. The function is, of course, to know the use in public infrastructures project like the roads, like I said before, the toll road, also and the water systems. The advantages we have to capture the indirect benefits due to the travel time saved and the safety. And for disadvantages, it kind of difficult to quantify the social benefits and it requires complex analysis. Okay, that's for the EIRR. And then we are going to talk about the NBC, or the net benefit cost ratio. What is it? So the net benefit cost ratio is a simple ratio comparing the total benefits to the total cost. Okay, so the NBC calculations is the total benefits of the projects over or divided by the total cost. So after we got the value equal more, oh, sorry, greater than one, the project generates more benefits than it costs, which means it is good or economically uh, feasible or justified. Mm. So the purpose of the purpose of the NBC is to determine the efficiency and the value of the investment itself. So for example, a highway constructions may have a high upfront cost, but huge benefits like to reduce travel time, to fuel savings for the people, and also for the economic growth. Why? Because the government or the uh, people can distribute their goods to one place to another place, and those things adding up to a strong net benefit cost ratio. Okay, next slide we have the function pros and cons, like the uh the previous slide. So for the function, it will compares the benefits and the costs in one metric, and the advantages, it will give the project manager easy comparison across the project and also a simple interpretations because we just comparing the total benefits onto the total cost. And then disadvantages itself, we ignores the project size and doesn't really show the timing of the cash flows. So the challenge is to make the cash flow in a good moment of time. Okay, next, IRR 9. So what is internal rate of return target set at 9%? This is a specialized metric for a long-term infrastructure projects usually. So it measures the discount rate at which the project's net present value or NPV is zero after 9 years. So reflecting the performance of the key milestone or operational period. For example, let's say if a dam project IRR 9 exceeds the company required rate of return, so the return is the return more faster than 9 year, then it signals a healthy investment by year 9 because the return has come back quicker. Okay, next we have the function and the advantages, also the disadvantages. So for the function itself, it helps to determine the investment is worth funding, and for the advantages, it also easy to interpret and supports the decisions, which is the good or no, yes or no decisions. And for the disadvantages, we have uh, the RR9 not reflect a real world capital cost, but we can actually it's just the challenge for the team to make it more detailed for the time and the budget considerations. And then it also can be a misleading with a multiple IRR, because if we have a target for the 9 year and then another maybe consultant have another target in maybe 10 or 11%, it could be a misleading or misinterpretations. Okay, next, for the conclusion itself, to sum up, mastering this topics for the cash flow, the NPV, the EIRR, the NBC, the profitability index, and also IRR9 empowers the constructions managers, construction team, the constructions uh, worker to evaluate and prioritize also to successfully deliver the projects. And financial analysis also ensures our projects to not only stand strong physically but also in financially. And before that, I haven't talked about the profitability index, so a little jump to the profitability index. Profitability index is a present value of future cash over the initial investment. So it is it is a useful tool when the funds or the capital are limited. So a profitability index must be greater than 1 to make sure the project is expected to generate profit per unit investment. So the constructions team use the profitability index to rank or to make an order to multiple projects and decide which one give the maximum budget constraints. So that is the purpose of the profitability index, or PI. Okay, and then these financial indicators also essentials for the civil engineering decision making and supports the sustainable economically infrastructure development. And we are moving on to the study case session. Maybe let me switch the PowerPoint first. Okay. All right, hang on. I am switching. Okay, for this study case, for this subjects, we have I have made the overpass bridge project in Central Java. Okay, next. Okay, so this is for the overview of the projects. We have a construction for a 4-lane overpass bridge in the Central Java with the length of 150 meters, and the width of the lane is 20 meters, with the duration of the constructions around 2.5 years. The total cost around 50 billion rupiah, funded by the government, and the back loan or the IRR at 9%. And the revenue of the bridge is the income over 25 years. Okay, the next. Okay, first is the cash flow analysis. So construction outflows at the year 1 to 2.5 years is around 50 billion for the operation, and the inflows at year 3 to 25 is 5 billion a year. And for the purpose is to monitoring or tracking the liquidity and the scheduling. Also, we have a advantages to prevent the shortage and to support the planning. And for the disadvantages, we can they kind of ignores the time value, but this is our challenge to face this analysis. Okay, next. We have the next net present value, as I said before, and then the previous explanations. So we have an input around 5 billion a year with a 9% discount in 23 years. And for the results, by the calculations, we have a 9.8 billion rupiah, and it is visible for the constructions to be processed, be perceived. And for the pros or the advantages, the net present value give the time give and determine the time value of money, and it is very sensitive to the discount rate. Okay, moving on to the EIRR. So we have a time saving 1 billion a year and the fuel saving 0.5 billion a year, and the accident saving around 0.3 billion per year, and adjusted inflow around 6.8 billion per year. For the results of the EIRR around 12.4%, and it is economically viable because the percentage of the EIRR will give the economical considerations for the construction team to make a decision where the project must be proceed or no. Okay, because why? Because the EIRR very focused on the social impacts, also the social benefits of the project itself. Okay, next we have the net benefit cost ratio or the NBC. So the definitions, of course, like I said before in the previous session, sorry. So the benefits of the NBC, present value benefits at the 9% or 9 year is around 59.8 billion. And the cost around 50 billion for the NBC is 1.2. So it is more than one. So it is efficient investment. Okay, next. For the benchmark, this one, because it has 10% IRR or the internal rate of return, means it is acceptable return. So it is good to be processed for the construction itself. And then to sum up this study case, the cash flow is confirmedly steady inflows, and the NPV is positive, which is more than zero, greater than zero. So it is financially viable, and the EIRR is 12.4%, which socio-economic justifications, and the NBC is greater than one, so it is cost effective, and the IRR is greater than 9, it meets the benchmark, and the overpass bridge constructions is recommended for the implementations. Okay, so that's all from me about the explanations of the economy engineering cash flows, the NPV, EIRR, NBC, and IRR, and also the study case, so we can kind of understand about how these topics can be implemented to the instructions project. I'm sorry if there is a sentence that it's not polite, and thank you very much for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.